It's early November here in Denmark, and autumn is beginning to feel a little more like winter. Me and Bosimart have gone on a small trip to an area close to where I grew up, where I've spent a lot of summers with my friends, bathing in the lake and camping in the deep forests. For my entire life, this area has been a sanctuary for me to go to when I needed to get out of the city and fully recharge my batteries. As I've become older, I've realized how growing up in landscapes like these has had a very big impact on me, on my values and how I choose to live my life, close and connected to all of this. For better or worse, I might add. For even though my seemingly simple life in a tiny house in the forest can seem pretty idyllic, it also has its challenges. And therefore one might ask, is simple living always that simple? Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about a topic that I find super interesting, really, maybe on a philosophical level somewhat, because often I use the term simple living about my lifestyle, and even though it is clear, everyone can see from the moon, that sometimes this lifestyle is not particularly easy and maybe not that simple also. So I just wanted to clarify how I understand that term, because I also think that a lot of times maybe here on YouTube, that simple living is a bit romanticized, or the cabin lifestyle is a bit romanticized compared to how reality is sometimes, because it is a more rugged way of living. In my case, I will be the first to admit that my life can be very unsimple at times, because oftentimes, particularly in the beginning, where I had to learn how to live off-grid, that was actually a bit of a challenge. Also with regards to technical stuff, sometimes you just need to repair stuff. Like the first place I lived, it was pretty windy, so my solar panels was tumbled over by the wind. So I kind of needed to learn how I could fix those, so I could repair them and then have them functioning again, because it was an investment and they were a little bit expensive for my budget at the time, so I couldn't just buy new stuff, so I really had to learn how to fix stuff. And also my wood stove, I had some issues in the first winter, and I still have it sometimes, with smoke inside of the room, because I have this metal chimney. And because it's metal, it gets cold very quickly, and cold air seeks downwards and warm air seeks upwards. So if you try to make a fire in a stove and you have a lot of cold air in the chimney, then the warm air cannot get out, and then the smoke will come inside of the house. And I didn't understand that principle properly when I just started my journey. So I had this winter where I was heating up my house. It was freezing cold outside, and then all of a sudden there was smoke in the entire house, and obviously I had to open all the doors, all the windows, and I was freezing, and I didn't understand why the smoke suddenly didn't come out of the chimney until I later that night, really freezing, I had all my blankets around me, and then I realized, oh, it might be the hot air that gets stuck in the system somehow. But maybe if I took my ethanol burner and put it inside of the stove, I could heat it up, because it wasn't enough just to put in a piece of newspaper. I needed to have a bit more heat in the system. And that worked. And then all of a sudden I could heat my house, and I learned a very, very valuable lesson about how a stove functions, and I will never forget it. So you need to repair stuff, and you need to be also prepared, because in terms of getting enough heat for the winter, you need to think ahead. Like, you need to be prepared for the winter like almost a year or two in advance in terms of getting wood stacked in your woodshed, so it will be dry when you will need it, depending on where you get your wood from, because I get a lot of my wood from the sawmill, and it is so thin that I can use it the same winter as I got it from the sawmill, so I don't need these 2 years of drying that most people do when they take down a fresh tree, and you need to season it for a couple of years before it's good to go. So you need to prepare a great deal if you want to live more simply. Also in the garden, like you need to be ahead of yourself. You need to know, like, okay, right now I'm thinking about I need to put horse manure around some of my bushes and apple trees so that they will grow better next season. So you need to think ahead of time with so many different things. Yeah, so that are definitely some aspects about my simple life that are not super simple, but I would say very valuable in terms of learning. And I will, on that note, also mention that I think it's a fallacy to expect of life that it will be without any kind of challenges, or that it should be just feel good all the way through, because that's not how life is. Life presents you with a lot of challenges, and you need to face those challenges in order for you to grow as a human being. So it is a very valuable thing in life that life is not always that easy, and no one has a perfect frictionless life. No one has that. And if anyone tries to paint a picture about that, for instance here on YouTube, that is not the real deal. Like, it cannot be the truth. So you need to also, I think, embrace the hardship of life. So to me, simple living is not about not having hardship in my life. It's totally not about that. To me, simple living is more about finding simple pleasures and then seeking those in your life. Like going on a beautiful trip with your dog in nature. It's totally for free. It's totally simple. I just need to get out here. I don't need a whole lot of stuff to do it. I can just do it. So that is a simple joy for me. And also in this, speaking about firewood, me chopping some wood and then bringing it inside of the house and then making a fire and cozying up by the fire with my dog is just a very simple and enjoyable experience every time. Every morning, every evening, I really enjoy that aspect about my life. So that is also to me a simple pleasure, because you don't need a whole lot of stuff. Like, you need matches and dry wood and of course your stove, but it's a very simple pleasure. Because I think it's important in this day and age where we tend to overconsume so much, that we also think about how we can find ways of being satisfied or content with life that do not pollute so much, and actually maybe be better for our health. Because I think some of the best joys in life are really like for free. It's fresh air, it's nature, it's connectivity with other people and with nature, and like those things are really for free, and those should be what we aspire to. It should not be material possessions. My point is just that don't overcomplicate things, I think. And just try to find an easier way of being happy. Possible. He gets the message. Well, it's because there is a shit and he wants to get that perfume in a way in his, so we need to wash him when we get back. But he really likes to be king of the forest by smelling like sheep shit. So anyways, that was all for me now. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and see you again next week.